Now is a series of videos looking at the internal workings of businesses. So we're going to be looking at production, costs, revenue, profit, those types of things, giving a bit more detail on firms. So this first video, we're going to look at production and productivity and the term specialisation, division of labour and exchange, and looking at money as well as a medium of exchange. So here are a few key terms. Production is the process of converting inputs or the factors of production, land, labour, capital, enterprise into a final output, that final output usually being goods and services. Productivity is often confused with production, but it's really, productivity is about efficiency. It's how effectively or how efficiently you can turn those inputs, land, labour, capital, enterprise, into output. So a firm that needs 10 units of input to make 1 unit of output will be less effective or efficient or productive than a firm that only needs 5 units of input to make that same unit of output. So it's looking at how efficiently you can do that. So whereas production is really about kind of looking at total output, the total amount that you can produce, productivity is looking at how efficiently you can produce. Labour productivity as well, following on from that, is the output you can produce per unit of labour. So how the average amount of production or output per unit of labour we usually measure it as. Specialisation is a method of production. Here's the definition. It's where it can be based on worker level, but it could be based on a kind of country level, as you'll find out when you look at year 2 and you look at comparative advantage. But it's where a worker, firm or nation focus on producing a narrow range of goods and services. So rather than trying to produce everything that they need to satisfy their needs and wants, they focus on just producing a few of those items, the things that maybe they're best at producing, so they can trade the surplus. Division of labour is really closely linked to specialisation, but this is breaking down a production activity and giving workers specific tasks to do within that production activity. So they don't produce the whole good or service, they're contributing to a small part of it. And this was really pioneered by, well, we're going to see who's on the back of a £20 note. Adam Smith wrote about this. And currently on the back of a £20 note, you've got the division of labour in pin manufacturing, and you can read about that, but also pioneered and used by Ford to produce cars as well. And what they found is that if you specialise and if you use division of labour, you can actually increase the amount of output that you produce. So sorry, this title here is Why Specialise or Use Division of Labour. There should be an or there. But the main benefits from it are that it increases quality and it increases quantity of your output. So some of the reasons for this is there's no time loss switching between tasks. So it's much more efficient. You're using your inputs, one of them being time, more effectively. You can use specific machinery. You don't have to have such flexible machinery to do a whole task. You can have, if you're specialising or using division of labour, one person can have a specific tool that carries out a specific task, and you can train your workers to do those specific tasks as well, which should be a lot cheaper than trying to train them to do everything. And we've got this concept of practice makes perfect. The more somebody does something, the better that they get at this. Now, there are some downsides to this. It could become very, very boring and repetitive for workers, and we do see drops in productivity sometimes when people are bored, and they can get quite demotivated as well if they're only carrying out a very small part of the production process. They don't see their contribution to the whole. They may not feel like they're very important. And also, if you are specialising in the production of one item or a narrow range of goods, we know that fashions, tastes, preferences do change. And it can be quite risky if you just focus on the output of a narrow range of goods. If tastes change and there's no longer a demand for what you produce. So in summary, using specialisation or division of labour should be able to increase the amount that you can produce, but you're still going to need to trade what these surpluses, this additional amount that you've produced that you can't possibly consume yourself. So I always use the example of businesses that are making kind of bathrooms or showers or something, because it's very specific, making showers, but there's only so many showers that one person needs themselves, or shower units. So to really make it worthwhile in an economy, if you're going to get people to specialise in producing what they're best at, you need to allow them to be able to trade those surpluses, because we cannot live off shower units. You're going to need other things like food and shelter and water to be able to make your shower work. So you've got to be able to trade. So what you can do is you can barter and say, okay, I'll swap you a shower unit for some chicken, some food, or whatever it is that you need. But bartering isn't a very efficient system, because what it requires is a double coincidence of wants. And what this means is that the person that you're swapping with wants what you have, and that they have something that you want, and that you can kind of settle on terms of trade, really. One shower for 15 chickens, or that'd be quite a cheap shower, to be honest. So what's more efficient is if we use money as a medium of exchange, and these are, money we know is like universal vouchers. You can use it as long as people have trust in it. You can use it and exchange it for any type of item in an economy. So money is used as a medium of exchange, and this helps trade and exchange. So specialisation is great, but what you need if you are going to specialise is you need a method of exchange, because you're going to end up with a lot of shower units. And this is why I use the example of shower units, because really, how many shower units does one person need? Not that many, being the answer. Maybe 2 maximum, but probably just 1. So those are the specification objectives.